think we are live. Gonna wait for some people to come in here. Hopefully we got a good connection this time. What's up, Chris? Yeah, I just put the numbers on one side. I just did that. Came out pretty much perfect, honestly. So I still need to put the driver's side numbers on. That's kind of what I was gonna do here live. What's up, Xander? Hey, let me know. I still have the seatbelt mounted over there. So let me know if you guys are going to be coming on. I was looking at the weather, and Thursday it looks like it might rain. So, but Friday still, we're still good for Friday. So yeah, if you guys are going to be coming, we'll just throw that passenger seat back in there. But you guys haven't even seen all this yet. When I said we weren't playing with weight reduction, I meant we weren't playing. So the car is pretty much all complete, which I am thrilled to say because I've been working on this thing day and night. Honestly, since last time Xander was over here and we went live together. This was one of the safety requirements here. So we have the fire extinguisher on the quick release mount. Yeah, we're going to get into the weight here in just a minute. I got all that stuff to share with you guys. Race seat is mounted. I actually had the entire dash out of the car so that we could delete the AC. I've been talking to Tunnel Chaser, so we might work out a deal to where Tunnel Chaser finally gets AC in his R. We're trying to figure that one out. But yeah, dash was out, so the whole entire, the blower motor, all that good stuff is taken out of there. The compressor's out. Oh yeah. Another thing I did is I took the whole front suspension out because I wanted to add some positive caster. So we added a degree of caster, and when doing that, and I wanted to keep an aggressive camber setting. Obviously, I ended up shaving. Some guys cut the strut towers a little bigger. I guess you can get like a jig from Vorschlag to do that, or one of those places. I can't remember if it's Vorschlag or Cortex, but I just had enough room there to where there's still, I could still get a socket or whatever on top of this. So I just shaved that down and it fits just under the strut tower there. So I can get all the adjustment I needed. So yeah, we added a degree of caster. We're running 3.6 degrees of negative camber in the front now. You can check, you can totally see the camber. So yeah, 3.6 negative camber up front. Around 8 degrees of caster. We had a full alignment day before yesterday. Hey guys, the trunk is done. Got the trunk painted thanks to my buddy Joe Agent up at Joe Agent Automotive in Mount Juliet. So we copied what the FP350S, if you guys remember, this is the exact wing that comes on the Ford Performance FP350S. We even had these made from CAD by a buddy on Instagram. Shout out to ZZJ for making these for me. So yeah, this is exactly what you would see on an FP350S. And then to complete the project, we had these supports welded in here. And again, this is exactly the way they did it on the FP350S. And I did notice, guys, also thanks to Joe Agent for hooking me up with this R panel. Obviously I had one on my trunk, but he was kind enough to let me use this one so I didn't have to rip up my trunk. So, but yeah, I did notice, guys, that after adding those supports, before when I would push down on the wing here, you could see the front of the trunk kind of lifting up, the skin of the trunk here, and now it's rock solid. So that definitely helped. Package tray, at least interior parts of the package tray are out. Speakers are all out. We are not playing, guys. So let's get in real quick to the weight. Let me check comments real quick. Sorry, guys, last time when we went live with Xander, I missed so many comments. And I swear, guys, I was looking. I wasn't seeing them. And I went back and watched that live stream, and I missed a bunch of comments, and I apologize for that. It wasn't intentional. Let's see. Yeah, Chris, you used a hole saw. So did you just use the hole saw by itself and just kind of free-handed it, or did you have some kind of like jig or whatever to run through? Yeah, thanks Kareem for wishing me the event. Hey, Paisan. What's up, Italian thing? Yeah, I was afraid to try to freehand it, man. That's honestly, man, I just felt comfortable. Just there's still enough meat on there to where if I had to ever put like a wrench on there, I still can. But in all honesty, I've always just put an impact right there and never even had to worry about holding this. Impact just cranks it right down. So I figured that was kind of the easiest way to do it while I already had the whole thing out of there. But let's go over some of the weights. Now this got a little messy on me, guys, even though I did keep track of everything 100%. I got a little messy at the end there with how I kind of recorded everything. But I will just go ahead and tell you right off the rip, the grand total weight loss, this is going to surprise a lot of you guys, 256 pounds. So we lost a ton of weight, and that should really, really make a big difference on track. It's not just like the drag strip, guys. Remember this, you know, you got to stop these things just like you got to make them go. And the next, you know, having nearly 300 pounds less is huge in the braking zones. It's huge when the car goes to load itself laterally, you know, and of course, you guys know that drag race, it's huge for acceleration as well. So just a quick rundown. One of the biggest things was stripping the doors, 54 pounds. That's all the glass is out of the doors. Everything is out of the doors. So that's door panels, glass, speakers, everything. Each door turned out to be, what do we have here? 27.7 pounds. And these numbers are rounded down, guys. So like, you know, each door was 27.7 pounds, 54 point. Actually, that's not 27.7. I'm sorry. That's 27 pounds, 7 ounces. You know, and I just rounded it down to 54 pounds. And I did that pretty much with everything because I didn't want to overestimate. So to be honest with you guys, and there's a lot of nuts and bolts I didn't weigh, couple little things here and there. So it's more than 256 pounds. But so here's everything. You guys can kind of just, hopefully you can see it. 54 pounds for the doors. Again, 27 pounds or so each. AC delete saved me 40 pounds. That's the compressor, the condenser, the blower motor and evaporator set up inside the car, and the heater core. Seatbelts saved me 12 pounds. That's deleting the factory seatbelts. And again, that's another thing I didn't even weigh because they're still in the car is the shoulder straps for the passenger belt. Car attempts to get us as much downforce as we could possibly get, guys. We took the back halves of the wheel liners out. So now this is all straight through, nothing blocking these fender vents here from letting all that high pressure air that gets trapped in the wheel wells from letting it escape. We left the front half of the wheel liner because it carries the, which you guys can't see, maybe I can get a light here for you. I don't know how to work this other iPhone. Anyway, the front half of the wheel liner houses the brake ducting, so I couldn't delete that, so we cut it basically in half here. That's another thing we did. Let me get back in here. So carpet 12 pounds, lost a couple pounds from getting the wheel liners out of there, or at least half of them. Windshield reservoir, a pound. And that's not counting if it's full of fluid. Mine wasn't, so I didn't consider that it was. The race seat itself saved me 20 pounds. However, I thought, yeah, the passenger seat also saved me 45 pounds. So That was another big part of the weight loss. Carbon hood saved me. I believe it was 14 pounds, but I put down 13 pounds. Again, I just didn't want to overestimate anything. Center console weighed 9 pounds. And then this is where it got, like I said, a little bit messy. I had miscellaneous adjustments, 48 pounds. I do have where that came from. And this is where I got messy at the end. I just wanted to get all this stuff done and get rid of it. And this was it. That was the stars here, stuff that was already on that list. So the stuff that wasn't on that list that got the 48 pounds was airbags and miscellaneous interior. That was a whole box of stuff that I filled up with airbags and miscellaneous plastic interior parts, 25 pounds. The factory R rear seat delete was 7 pounds. The fender liners we already counted. Carpet we already counted. What is that? I can't even read my own handwriting. I have no idea what the heck that says. The headliner weighed 4 pounds. And the package tray piece of carpet. What the heck does that? I think it's rear side panel, actually, and I just put a period at the end. Yeah, those are, yes, that's what that is. Those are the rear side panels that go on either sides of your rear seats. So that was another 8 pounds. So, yep, a grand total of just under 260 pounds, guys. Check through comments here. Yeah, see, that's what I was worried about, Chris, is that bit jumping around and just mauling up my shock towers. But, I mean, you got it done, so it's doable. Yeah, Kareem, I was pretty impressed with that weight loss. I honestly had myself, I thought it was going to be a pretty aggressive goal to lose 200 pounds, but I ended up easily passing that. Yes, I will definitely have footage from the whole weekend. There's going to be multiple competition sessions. They are time trial sessions, so I believe on Saturday there's going to be 2 20-minute sessions where you got to lay down the absolute fastest time that you can, and then there's going to be, I believe, each day 2 track sprint sessions, which are basically 1 full lap from a dead stop as fast as you can do. But they haven't revealed to us what section of the track or if it's going to be the entire track. I guess they're keeping that a surprise. See, somebody asked about the seat. Yeah, dude, I've been super busy, man. This car's honestly kicked my ass over the past week or so. So the seat that we're running, let me get you guys some better light. The seat is a Sparco Circuit, and it is a full halo seat for safety reasons, obviously. And this is their new, Sparco's new QRT series. So this is basically all of their seats, they're going to be going to this QRT technology. And basically they're nearly as light as a carbon seat, but they're still fiberglass. So you get the price of a fiberglass seat, but nearly the weight of a carbon seat. And they're supposed to be 30% lighter than the prior model. So if you would have got a kit non-QRT, this one's supposed to be 30% lighter, which this seat weighed 18 pounds. I'm not sure if you guys saw the Fat Fab mount, same one Xander's got in his car. Great minds. But yeah, this mount was the lightest option that I could find to go with. It's a fixed mount, so there's no slider or anything, which is fine. I mean, I'm really the only one that drives this car, except for sometimes a buddy of mine who's a pro driver and he coaches me, but he'll fit in here fine. So other than that, I'm not worried about the seat moving, and that was the lightest option I could find. Let's see if anybody else had any more questions. What's up, Nick? So are we getting on some iRacing or what, man? I got to get some virtual seat time. How do I flip this damn camera? It's hard to. I'm so used to going live on the on the computer. I don't really know how to work it on the phone. So yeah, guys, like I said, I had this entire dashboard out. We're still gonna get carbon doors. I want to get the dry carbon doors. So those were on back order for like, I think they said 10 weeks, so I couldn't get those in time. And that should save. See, that the good news is even though we lost 256 pounds, there's still a lot of weight to lose here. We're still got carbon doors to do. We still got the factory glass in here. They have the, I believe they're the optic armor, windshield and rear piece of glass can save like another 20 pounds. And then when we finally go with the AP Racing brakes, just the front brakes alone save another 30 pounds. Eventually, I'd like to get coilovers on here. So there's potential easily for another 100 pounds of weight loss. The bad news is there's no more freebies. It's going to cost a lot of money each time you try to take 20 pounds out of this thing from here on out. But what was I going to say about the weight also? Or something I wanted to say. I know one thing I had on my mind is I was planning on doing while we were live here is finishing up the numbers, because that's something I can kind of still pay attention to the live and get this done pretty easily. So I'll probably just park my butt on the floor right there and you guys can ask some questions or whatever. Oh, I know what I was going to say about the weight though. Last time I had this thing on a scale, it was like 3730, if I remember correctly. But that was with the Project 6GR wheels on it, which are a little lighter than the factory, like regular GT350 wheels, but nowhere near as light as the carbon wheels. I figure they're about 30, 40 pounds, which I should do that one of these days, weigh the difference between those. However, it's not a fair comparison right now because those have 325, 30 squared on them, so those are huge tires on there. But I would like to know the difference just between the wheels themselves. So guesstimating that the car was right around 3,700 pounds if we had the carbon fiber wheels on them. Let me get that light out of your face. So assuming it was about 3,700 pounds with the carbon fiber wheels on it, then we added a cage to it. And those estimates are pretty much exact, I would say, because a base R we know weighs 3,650 pounds. So, and that's without the AC and all that stuff. The electronics pack R is supposed to be 40 to 50 pounds heavier, which would make my 3,700 pound estimate about right on. Then figure we added this cage, which apparently this cage weighs about 45 pounds. I never have got a chance to weigh the cage itself, but the cage supposedly weighs about 45 pounds. So figure this car in stock form after I added the cage was probably right about 3,750 pounds. That brings us to right about 3,500 pounds. Be pretty awesome. 3,500 pounds. This thing already really did really well on track. And a lot of times, you know, with me in the car, it was probably 3,900 pounds or heavier before. So let me grab some water and a squeegee. I'll be back. Alright, we got some stuff. Get some more stuff. I'll show you how I did this real easily, because I want to salvage these numbers, guys. These are kind of my permanent numbers, but I'm forced. There's 200 cars in this event that I'll be running in, and I just could not get a number. I couldn't even get to modify this to a 3-digit number. There was nothing. I couldn't do 117. I couldn't do 717. I couldn't do anything. So I had to do a 4-digit number. That's why we're doing this. But I want to salvage these, so I'm just going to take the same white vinyl that I used to make these. I handmade these. I'm going to lay out a little knifeless tape right here, just around my 17. White vinyl over it. and then obviously put the new numbers right over it, and then hopefully it doesn't get so stuck that when I go to peel it off, it peels off my numbers. But if it does, I guess I'll just have to get some new numbers from Chris. So grab a knifeless tape over here. Park my butt on the floor. Check the comments real quick. What do we got here? This, I don't like it on the phone, guys. Like on the computer, you can just always have the comments right there. On the phone, it's kind of a pain in the butt. You gotta like click the little comment button every time, and then you can only see a couple of them without scrolling up. Make sure I didn't miss any like I did last time. I missed like everybody's comments. All right, so I don't think I really missed too much, or I don't think I missed anything, but comment again if I did. So yeah, just like I said, and typically I would always clean something like this, but again, my goal is to not have it stick too well so that it'll peel off, hopefully. So I'm not even gonna clean this. I'm just gonna lay some knifeless tape. You always wanna go quite a bit further than you think you need, because that gives you enough to separate the string from the tape. I can bring you guys a little closer so you can actually see what I'm doing. Yeah. Run this up here. I didn't even have to get so far away, but I did. That piece has got a bunch of shit in it. Pardon my French. Why do they call it French? Is like, are all curse words created by the French? Comment down below. All right, so simple as that. Make a little box around it. Make sure it's, you know what? I just made a rookie mistake here. Okay. You always got to keep track of knifeless tape. Anytime you make a, you intersect, you always have to remember which pieces are on top, because if you go to peel, like say this piece is on the bottom right here. Yeah, see, I made a mistake here. See how like this piece is on top, so I could peel that, but this piece is underneath that piece that I made across. So if I was to go to peel this one down, it would rip this piece up. So yeah, I wasn't paying attention because I was just checking the okay, so let me just make sure I have this stuff all right now. Yeah, okay. So now both of these are on top. So now when you put your vinyl on, you have to pull these two first because these are underneath. You guys can only imagine when I made these numbers with knifeless tape, the frickin' maze that I got myself lost in with doing that. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much going to be my last piece of vinyl. I don't think there's going to be much to salvage here. But I don't think I need any more, at least not before the event, so. No, I'm definitely no pro with this stuff, so I just keep messing with it till I get it right, kind of how I do it. So I just like to stick the top on there. I'll get my squeegee. Get get it anchored there so that I can pull back without it ripping the whole piece off. And then I just slowly start squeegeeing it down. The good thing about vinyl is like that stuff I don't have to worry about because it's past the tape. But the good thing about vinyl is like even if you crease it or whatever, it's pretty simple to just put a little heat into it, which I'm going to go grab my heat gun because it makes it easier. Alright. Yeah, check some comments again. What's up, Aunt? Man, I'll be honest with you, bro. I kind of gave up on posting on 6G. Other than I run the lap time thread there. So I try to keep up on everybody's lap times. Man, it's just gotten to the point where there's so many, like, I don't know a word I could use without getting demonetized, but there's not a lot of nice people there anymore. On M6G lately. Grab a little. See, if I actually knew what I was doing, I'd be done already. See, like that little spot right there, I don't know if you could see that, but there's a little tiny crease right there. You just take it and put a little heat into it. It just totally disappears. Probably should have put it up a little further there. Almost there. Right there. It's a tedious process. It's just there's a lot of curve at the bottom of the door here. Yeah, we're right there towards the bottom. Gotta start pulling it this way a little. crossing the finish line. Got one little mess up right there. Take that right out. And that's it. So now you just want to make sure that it's nice and sealed down around all your tape. And in a perfect world, I would have had a smaller piece cut here. I got a razor blade right here because it went past my tape. So we'll just pull it back. Tape itself. I think we are good now. Our edge is down really good where it's going to cut. Now, yeah, let me check some comments here. It looks like I got people answering for me though, so. Tell Kristen hello, she's watching. Oh, Kristen, what's up, Kristen? Which one's Kristen? Oh, she didn't comment. I'm confused. Are you both commenting on the same account? Or are you just losing your mind and you're like answering yourself? Yeah, I gotta put on a 4-digit number. Stupid. There's 200 cars in the event, and I guess they let like everybody pick their number, so it's like mayhem trying to get a number. I had to put in like literally 8 requests for numbers until finally I'm like, you know what? Just let's do 1717. Does anybody have that? So yeah. Okay, so now the trick to this stuff, hopefully I remembered which ones were first. You want to kind of like fold it in half back on itself and then hold down pressure. And then you could see the string. Oh, actually, I'm not sure if you can see. Let's get you a little closer. So now you can see that the tape is still there, but the string is in my hand. And I just cut through it. So now that we have that top one done, we'll come over here. Same thing, fold it in half, hold it down, and just, you want to make sure your edge is down so it actually pulls through the vinyl. Boom, that side's cut. We can come over here. Same thing. Leave yourself a little extra room just in case it doesn't work, because sometimes it'll break and then you'll lose a piece of string, and if you didn't leave yourself enough, you're screwed. So we got one more. Oh. So now we can take the excess vinyl and all this tape. Just get it out of here. I was gonna do a video on like the final prepping, but honestly guys, I got like a little over a day left till the event. I still got to do an oil change. I still have to do my sub belt, the belt that goes through the bottom of your seat, basically like your crotch belt. I still have to drill a hole on the floor so that I can mount that. That's nothing really, but still a couple things left I have to do. And you know, the one good thing about going live is you don't have to edit anything. And it's a little bit more engaging. People get to ask and get answers on the spot if I see them. Let's see. Yeah, the U1 is the class designation. That's for Unlimited 1, which is the fastest class there is. Yes, the engine is bone stock. I was gonna try to get an E85 tune for the event, but to be 100% honest, I ran out of money. I spent a lot of money to get the car ready for the event, and that was one of the last. That and a lightweight battery were the two things that I couldn't swing. So I do have an N-Gauge in the car that I've had since my first GT350 I've had. I had a flex fuel tune in that. Dude, why do you keep sending me $99? It's my cousin, in case anybody's wondering. But, so what was I just talking about now? Oh, some help? Yeah, I mean, shit, you could have ordered me a tuner. I'd have paid you back. Too late now. Freaking Lund Racing, it says on their web that, and see, that was one of the last things. I was thinking about putting it on one of my credit cards anyway. But see, the last thing that was like, you know what? I'm not even going to do it. It ain't meant to be. Is like when I went to their website, now they're quoting 10 business days for a tune. It does mention in there that it probably won't be 10 days, but like, I guess they pretty much don't want you calling before 10 business days to say, where's my tune? And I didn't have 10 business days. So hopefully, guys, I don't come in second by a half a second or something that probably could have been achieved with a nice E85 tune. So we just have to make sure that we have all the pieces of green tape out of there. A couple on the side here. These things will hide under there on you. So yeah, I think we are good to go. So now we can just squeegee this down. A little dirt coming out of it. Like I said, typically you would clean something like this before you do that. And if this wasn't temporary, I would probably be sitting here with OCD for hours, like measuring and centering. But we ain't got no time for that. By the way, Chris, if you're still there, thanks for sending me extras of all these, because it's nice to know that I don't have to worry so much about screwing it up, that I got another one. So I got my squeegee, got my numbers. So we're just gonna do something kind of like that. Like I said, this is the part that I would probably be sitting here OCDing it up for like an hour. But we're just gonna... And since we have soap and water, that will do... See, the same thing happening on the other side. This one got stuck on me. Common issue with decals. It happens all the time. You just got to make sure that you get it up with the backing paper. There we go. So now that I got it started, give it a little spray so that dirt don't start sticking. Now the 7 doesn't want to come up from that side, of course. We'll get it. We'll get it. There she comes. We'll give that a good spray down. We'll give the car a good spray down. That way it'll glide around nice for us so we get it exactly where we want it. kind of cool with that actually. It looks somewhat straight, right guys? Doesn't matter. It's temporary. You know what's funny is it looks a lot straighter in the naked eye than it does on camera. I don't know if that's just like the angle. It does look a little up higher. I don't know. I think that might just be the angle. Let me move this over here. Yeah, it's pretty. It's kind of. You know what? Who cares? Freaking temporary. Where's my squeegee? Keeping this 4-digit number retarded. So yeah, because we used water with this, we're not going to peel it right off the backing paper here, or the top paper, I don't know what you would call that. We'll try to drive as much water out of it as we can. And we'll just let that dry for a second while we put on the class designation stickers. It looks pretty good, right? Not so bad. Alright, where's the U1 sticker? I thought I brought that with me. I didn't? Oh, here it is. Alright. So I'm just going to take a quick peek at the other side. I pretty much had it centered height-wise. Something along those lines there. But again, water, so we can move it around, play with it. Does that look kind of centered a little bit? It's like the phone gives you a little bit different of a perspective. Yeah, looks pretty good. Again, this car was actually built to run NASA TT2. So this is also temporary. This is the SCCA class that I'm running in. But hopefully by next year, we'll be fully ready for TT2. And the way this car's looking, by the time we get a full cage, who knows, we might end up doing wheel-to-wheel in this thing. Alright. We'll go over this one more time. Try and drive any more liquid out of there. Check some comments real quick. What's so funny, Nick? Yeah, man, that's what I'm telling you. That's why I rounded everything, so that I didn't have to consider stupid stuff like that. Yeah, unfortunately, I have a passion for something that is retarded expensive. It's a curse. Yeah, it is. It's very easy to mess up. I also need to do, I won't bore you guys with that right now though, but another obvious one, which Chris hooked me up with, is the Recaro stickers gotta go now. Oh, and that reminds me, I know there's only like, 10 or 12 of you guys in here right now, but these are gonna be for sale. And they are mint condition, not a blemish on them. This car has I think still under 5,000 miles on it, so these were, basically call them 5,000 mile takeouts. At this point, I just say make an offer, not because I haven't really got to do enough research to see what I think they're gonna bring. I do know that the regular GT350 seats go for around $3,000. The GT350 Recaros, I should say. And I have not seen a set of these for sale on eBay or anywhere else. So actually, that's a lie. I did see one set. They were out of a wrecked car and they had like the airbags popped out of the sides of the seat. So I wouldn't use that to gauge what I would ask for these. But other than that, they are going to be for sale. And hopefully I can use that to kind of finish up this build or recoup some of the money that I into it. And like I said earlier, I'm about to peel off the damn the white part. Vince, Tunnel Chaser, we might work out something with the AC out of the car. Yeah, this thing now, dude, is gonna. If you think it was scary before, the car was so fast that, yes, it was scary, but it was so fast that any more, that's where the arrow comes in on this car. The real place to gain time at this point. Oh, the bottom started to peel up there, but that's no big deal. Got a little handy dandy squeegee. With the additional arrow and the lighter weight, one of the big glaring differences is going to be high speed sections of the track, and that's where it was already scary before. You're going into, a turn at 130 miles an hour. Well, now where you have all this arrow on the car, the faster you go, the more effective the arrow actually is. It's going to be even scarier. I just saw a comment pop up and then it disappeared, so sorry about that. Yeah, we are prepping for a time trial event. So it's this weekend is SCCA Time Trial Nationals. It's going to be up in Bowling Green, Kentucky. But more special this year is that they're kind of tying in with Ford Fest and NMRA, even though NMRA is obviously a drag racing event, but it's all going to be the same weekend starting Thursday through Sunday. NMRA, Ford Fest, and SCCA Time Trial Nationals. And we will be throwing down versus, this one I might let dry for another minute because this one did kind of try to peel up on me a little bit. So yeah, guys, I mean, if you get close enough, you can see where the old numbers were, obviously, but again, temporary. And it's got the 5-foot effect. That's what I call it. From 5 feet away, it looks great. I'm gonna have to plug in a charger. Just got the low battery warning. So got the pluggy right over here. Oh, cool, Flying Gato. You'll actually be at the Time Trial Nationals this weekend? Sorry, these comments, like, they come up and they pop away, and then, like, I have to go back digging for them. Board here. Get the phone charger plugged in before we lose the feed. And of course, she brings me a 2-foot long charger wire. So what I'm gonna do is put this right here for a sec. I think the next thing I'm gonna do real quick, once I get this charger and stuff set up, is maybe we could drill that hole. Yeah, I'll buy one with that $99 you sent me. Appreciate that. Well, actually, it's going to be more like 60 because YouTube takes their cut. Live chat. So, what are you going to be running in a certain class, Flying Gato? Or are you just coming to hang out, or what? Yeah, Chris, the real reason why I went with the seat was because running unlimited class and running on below 100 tread wear tires requires me to have a 5-point harness, and I only had a 4-point harness. And obviously I wasn't even gonna consider cutting a hole in the bottom of those to put a seatbelt through it. But I've heard of some guys like that like sit on the belt and it goes under your like butt and then through the back, like back part of the seat where the, you know, folds. But I don't know if that would pass tech or not, and I didn't want to deal with any of that. So plus I was kind of in diet mode, get this thing on a diet. So I figured it's definitely time for a full race seat. And those of you that know me personally know, like, I get pretty competitive when it comes to this stuff. I've always kind of like blew it off doing track days. Let you stop looking at the numbers there. I've always kind of blew it off just doing track days. But now that I'm going to be competing, like, I really want to have the safety stuff in line, because at the end of the day, like, I drive this car really, really hard, and now I'm going to be competing against other guys that are equally skilled as I am, and in just as fast, if not faster cars, and I have a really competitive, you know, attitude about it. I just, you know, I don't want to jinx myself, but, you know, I want to be prepared for, you know, this thing. You know, you can crash these things doing what I do. There's no doubt about that. And that's why I went with the full Halo Racy, and I just got the Hans device. We went to the 5-point harness. We got the fire extinguisher on the quick release in there. So we definitely upgraded safety quite a bit for this event, which it's always kind of been in the back of my mind, like, damn, I need to put that 500 together and get myself a head and neck restraint, and I need to get this and get that. And you always kind of put it off for that next mod that you want. But it is a relief that I finally got all that stuff. What means cat in Spanish? The hell are you talking about? Oh, Chris, you might be interested in the seats. This is what I mean. Like, I hate this phone thing. Like, I miss so many comments. I have to, like, go digging back. Yeah, if you're interested in the seats, man, I'll hook you up. I mean, I'm not going to give them away, obviously, but I will work out a deal. And obviously, that would be something I would be I would be definitely more inclined to do a deal with a friend that I know. I don't have to deal with shipping or any kind of, like, you know, scammy type of crap. So, yeah, if you want them, let me know. We'll work something out. I still got to get rid of these Project 6 GR wheels, so if anybody has a GT350, don't do track days. I would like to see them go to another track day guy, because not that they're in bad shape, but they're not, you know, they weren't wheels that I just pulled out of the garage and polished the car, you know, every week. Those were track wheels, so they're not in mint condition. They have got scuffs and scratches on them here and there. So I know they would be perfect for another track guy. Why am I getting a low battery while I'm plugged in? But yeah, I know they would be perfect for another track guy, so I got to get rid of those. Although I'm kind of glad I didn't get rid of them just yet, because I'm gonna need to run on something for practice on Friday. I got fresh set of A7s here, which I'm excited about this too, because this will be my first time at NCM on a fresh set of Hoosier A7s. I don't, if you guys aren't familiar with the Hoosiers, they come in R7s and A7s. The R7 is still a super duper fast tire. That's what I usually run on. But the A7 is that's their time trial / autocross tire that's meant to be super sticky, get hot really quick, and yeah, it's just maximum performance. I've been to NCM once on a set of A7s, but they were pretty much heat cycled out. And that was the last time when I had my cousin with me, and I ran a 215.5 with a passenger in the car on a set of heat cycled out Hoosiers. So just to give you guys a little idea, the guy that won the event last year ran a 212, and that was the overall fastest time of the entire event. So my fastest time there is 3 seconds off of the guy that won overall out of the 200 cars that showed up last year. But keep in mind, 215 with a passenger, on not new tires. The car wasn't in competition prep, you know, form like it is now. No aero, no big wing, no GT4 splitter, no GT4 hood, and full weight exactly the way the car came. Matter of fact, the only thing done to the car was just some suspension mods, like some, you know, IRS lockouts and diff lockouts, just bushings and Ford Performance springs, just basic stuff, sway bars. So yeah, I'm really I've been doing a lot of bench racing the last week. Like, I've been doing a lot of like trying to figure out what I think I can run. And the hopeful side of me wants to think that I can get real close to like a 210, 211, but the realistic side of me is like, yeah, maybe it's more like a 212, 213 with a really good lap. But still, I mean, I would be happy with that. If the only thing that can beat me is a unlimited class prepped Viper GTS, I'm okay with that. Plus, it takes a snake to beat a snake. Yeah, the only thing I was telling Nick from Track Stings last night or the night before, the only thing I would truly be upset with is if I knew I got outdrove. Like, if another guy showed up in a GT350R similarly or even less prepped than this, and hands me my ass on a silver platter, that I'm not gonna lie, I would be upset about, because I would know that I got outdrove and I just, you know, I didn't work hard enough. I didn't have enough seat time. Wasn't as fast as I thought I was. I will say though that typically that's not the case. Typically, if I get beat on track, it was a faster car. Or a pro driver, one of the two. So that's it. So yeah, we got to get rid of that Recaro sticker. I don't know if you guys want to hang out or not while I don't know if I'd be able to get a good view, hang out while I try to remove that seat and drill the hole for the sub belt. Hey, what's up, Ken? How you doing, man? Oh, yeah, you came in a little late. I talked about that a little bit, but I'll show you for anybody else that came in. Like I said, if you guys want to see anything, just let me know. So what we did with the shock towers, instead of notching them open, I just went ahead and cut down. Let me get you a better light here. On this side, you got a little bit more light, I think. There we go. So yeah, like right there, you can see what I did. Still enough there that if I have to put a wrench on the top, I can still get a wrench on there. But basically, I just cut the top of the strut tower down so that, I'm sorry, the actual strut itself. I just cut the top of the strut itself. And yeah, talk to you later, Chris. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming in and joining. Hopefully we get on track together again soon. Got to get back to Barber eventually now that they did that repave. I cannot wait to get back out there and lay down a lap. So yeah, that's basically what we did, and this now allows us to get full range of motion. We added a degree of caster, so you can actually see, look how far back that strut is leaning, guys. Whereas before it was dead center, now we pushed it back. And what that does, if you're not familiar with caster, I know most people are familiar with camber. What caster really does is it basically creates dynamic camber. And what that basically means is when the wheels turn, it creates camber. So let's say you're going around a right-hand corner, the driver side wheel, if you're going around a right-hand corner, you want negative camber because the car's loading in that direction and rolling in that direction. And if you have negative camber, the wheel actually comes straight on you. But the opposite is true for the other side. So on the other side, you would actually want positive camber. Like if you ever see a NASCAR, because they're only going around in left-hand circles, they run positive camber on one side and negative camber on the other side. You can't really do that on a track car because we have to turn right and left. That's where caster comes into play. It creates that dynamic camber situation where it has that effect that you want. The one side gets negative camber. As the wheels turn, the other side gets positive camber. So definitely something you want on a track car. And we are now running, I've said it before, but for anybody else that just came in, we just pulled it off the alignment rack, and we're running 3.6 degrees of negative camber in the front and about 2.7 degrees in the rear. It's totally visible. You can see, look how much of the bottom of the tire sticks out. And then as you get to the top, it's actually sunk in. So tons of negative camber here. And then with that additional caster, we'll create even more camber as we go around turns dynamically. Not as much camber in the rear. You don't want as much camber in the rear on these cars. Basically, I haven't ever corded a rear tire. I always end up swapping them to the front, and they always cord on the front. And every time I've put a little bit more negative camber in it, and every time I cord the outside of the tire. So this time, 3.6 degrees of negative camber. I know the GT4 race cars run somewhere in the range of 4 degrees, but being on a full Pirelli slick and being even lighter, they probably make a little bit more grip even, and that allows them to run a little bit more camber. But hopefully we'll see finally one day we don't cord the outside of a tire. I would love to see the inside of a tire cord. At least then I know, okay, maybe now it's time to back up a little bit on camber. Let's see, how do I get to the comments again? I hate this. Hey, what's up, Salty Stang? Got a buyer for your house, that's what's up. I need to be a buyer for a house. I spend all my money on, well, this stuff. Yeah, thanks, man. I've been working on this thing day and night for like a week now. This thing's been kicking my ass. The Holly practice day is Thursday. I know Friday is technically, I believe, if I have this right, is practice for the SEC event, but Holly is giving away their track day, their yearly track day, and that's Thursday. I have every intention, or had every intention, of coming up there on Thursday, but after recently checking the weather, it's showing rain on Thursday, and one of the other things I wasn't able to swing before the event was a new canopy if it's going to rain. And once we're at the track, I have no problem throwing a car cover over it. I have a couple car covers, but obviously I can't tow the car up there with a car cover, especially since it won't fit over that rear wing anymore. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to have it not be raining for me to tow the car up there. So hopefully the weather holds out early Thursday so I can get the car up there. Saw another comment come up and disappear. All right, Kareem, thanks for coming in. You gonna be up there any of the days, Celine 367? I mean, yeah, yeah, that sounds awesome. 4,200 square feet, 5 bay shop, 9 acres. That sounds like my kind of crib. Let's talk turkey. I want some land. Like when I was young, I always wanted I was always like a city boy. I always wanted to be around like every. Now, honestly, as I get older, I want land. I want to be like able to do my own shit on my own land. Like if I want to have a four-wheeler or whatever and just hop out and hop on a four, like I want to be able to do that. I'd like to be able to build stuff on my land or like, little racetrack or whatever. Oh yeah, we unplugged that, so I might actually have to end it a little earlier tonight than I anticipated. Probably keep it going for another few minutes, but problem is my phone is dying and the charger's not even keeping up with it. I guess this live stream takes a lot of juice. I knew I should have went live with my computer, but I didn't want to be. Wire just swung the phone around. Oh man. Is this on? Yes. Okay. So yeah, guys, I didn't want to have to swing around a computer screen for you guys to see stuff, so I decided to use the phone. Hopefully right after this event, I've been waiting for a new iPhone to come out, so now that the new iPhone's out, as soon as they have one in stock for me, I'm gonna get a new phone, which should greatly upgrade the screen quality and stuff on that. Oh, you're going live, Tunnel Chaser? Trying to steal my mojo? No, that's cool though, cause I'm gonna have to get off here in a couple minutes because my phone's dying. So if you really are going live, I'll hop on your live stream as soon as I get off of here. But yeah, man, we need to work that out. If you're still in here, yeah, you're still in here. I did talk to Ford Performance, but they want me to jump through all these hoops and email them and give them part numbers, like wire harnesses, and have them dig through it. So I'm gonna try to talk to a few other people and see if I can't figure out the answer without us having to just kind of dig into it ourselves. Worst case scenario, maybe you could have your guy pop off your radio panel and just kind of take a peek back there, see what we're working with. But I did give him a call, so I am on it. Honestly, I don't know when it comes to the phones. I never buy a phone. I just go in there and I don't know, they make me sign my life away and they give me a phone. That was my cousin. I just realized what Tunnel Chaser's talking about. That was my cousin. I think he keeps getting drunk and coming in my live stream and giving me $100. Yeah, see, that's the only reason I want a new phone is this camera. I have the iPhone 7 Plus here, but whenever like Xander's over, or I have somebody else go live with me. I like look over at their live stream and then look back at mine, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is terrible. you can, I mean, night and day difference in quality. So I've, you know, if I'm gonna do the YouTube thing, I gotta up my game. There has got to be a way. I probably just don't know what I'm doing to make the chat stay up. Chat viewing options? What's this? Bear with me, guys. Oh, that's nothing. You can't click that. Yeah, it's just all messages are visible. They pop up and disappear immediately. Well, hey, drink up, man. Hey, that might actually be true. Hey, don't hate you guys get all the freaking you and Stang Mode when you guys had your podcast. You guys making freaking all the big bucks on the damn. I never get any super chats. One family member super chats me and he's all over my nuts. Oh shit! Yeah, you're definitely drunk. No, they haven't given me my build date, but they have basically told me I'm not getting my car anytime soon. So, um, it's pretty much like common knowledge at this point for most of the people on the inside. But for those that don't know, the track pack cars they don't build during the winter. It was the same thing on these cars. They don't build the cars that come with the Cup 2 tires during winter months because I guess below 40 degrees or whatever, they have a tendency of the tires have a tendency to crack when loading them and stuff on the trailers. I don't know, maybe it's worse than 40 degrees because I always had mine in the garage. I never had any problem with it. I don't know if it has to do with driving on the tires or what, but yeah, long story short, track packs and R's they don't offer during the winter. I'm considering maybe, possibly buying a base car in the meantime and trading it in on my track pack when it comes in. It's kind of the same thing I did with this car, except it wasn't intentional with this car. With this car, I did want the R originally, but I couldn't get an allocation on one, so I settled for a GT350. And like 8 months later, a dealer that I was on the waiting list for the R contacted me and they're like, yo, you're next in line. You want it? And I was like, yes, I do. So that's how I got the R. But when I did that, honestly, I didn't really take much of a hit. They gave me really good money for my GT350 because this was at the beginning of GT350 production, and you know even the regular cars were pulling $5,000-$10,000 over sticker, and there were no used GT350s on the market. So I had a lot of bargaining power on my side to get what I wanted for the car. And I think the GT500 will be the same thing. If I buy a GT500 in November, December, and go back to trade it in March or April when my track pack comes in, it's fair to say that it'll be one of the only used GT500s on the market, and I'll get sticker for it, you know? So it'll cost me probably a few grand to drive the car for a few months, but I'll also be able to give you guys fresh content. I always said that I was never buying this car for YouTube. I'm one of the few guys that I've been buying this car long before I even was committed to doing YouTube stuff. But at the end of the day, since I am buying it and I am paying 90 grand for one, it would be nice to reap some of the benefits of being one of the first to have content out on the car. If I have to wait till April to get mine, it's kind of going to be old news by then. People are going to be getting these things, and by next month they're going to be getting these things. Some people, but you're really going to start seeing them flow in November, December. So by March, April, it's kind of going to be old news. Yeah, it's the track pack itself might still be kind of new news, but there isn't near the following for that kind of stuff that there is for, people that just want to see this thing hit the drag strip and, that kind of stuff, and see some mods, see some dynos. See, that's exactly what I said. I don't understand why they can't give you the option to ship the car. Like I put some thought into it. I thought to myself, they could have like 20 or 30 sets because they don't do that many R's or track packs at one time. So they could have like 20 sets of tires that they send these cars out on, and they actually do this at the plant. They build the R's and the track packs on base wheels, and they have like you'll always know because they'll have like a red or a blue paint on the center of the hub, and they build the whole car that way. And then after the car is completed and done, it goes to the mod shop at the plant, and at the mod shop is where they do your carbon fiber wheels or your cup 2 tires, and they do your stripes. They do all that kind of stuff at the mod shop. So they already kind of do that. They already have a designated set of wheels and tires rolling around, probably a certain amount of sets of them that they use to set these cars up on. Why can't they send the car out and just have the dealer install your tires? I mean, you're really going to hold my car for 4 months over tires? I should have the option to just be like, you know what, send it on regular tires. I'll buy my own tires. Because honestly, if it came to that, I would take that option in a heartbeat. Give me Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's and I'll buy my own Cup 2s. If I gotta wait 4 months. But, of course that's not an option. It's definitely not Burger King. Have it your way. So, sorry I missed your comment, Mad302S. So tow, we are running about 10 degrees of total tow out in the front, and we're running about 15 degrees. I'm like trying to look at the car, and I'm thought the camera was facing the other way, guys. Sorry. So yeah, we're running about 10 degrees of tow out in the front, total tow, and we are running a little bit more than that tow in the rear. Tow in the rear creates that stability for you on the rear end. The tow out in the front, that's what gives it that real nice aggressive turn-in characteristics. So that's what we did. Just to recap one more time on the alignment, so we're running just a little bit of tow out in the front, a little bit of tow in the rear, 3.6 degrees of negative camber up front, 2.8 degrees, 2.7 or 2.8 degrees of negative camber in the rear. And we're running right around 7.9 degrees of caster. Too many IPAs. Speaking of which, I could go for a beer right about now. Yeah, I'm looking forward to making some videos this weekend. I always say I'm going to do multiple, but I get so caught up in the event that I usually only do one, but guarantee we'll at least have one cool video from the event. I wanted to maybe get up on Thursday or Friday and get up to Beach Bend and see if we can't cover NMRA somewhat. I usually always get up there every year, and I love that event. It's such a cool event. There's so many vendors and the car show and all the racing. It's an awesome event. It's just this year I may not be able to attend because of the SCCA thing. Just make sure I don't have you misunderstood real quick, Salty. But this building a Shelby built car, wouldn't it come from the factory as a base model, then shipped to Shelby in Vegas to be finished? People don't know this, so don't feel bad. Shelby Ford product, the GT500 that's coming out, the GT350 from the past few years, that is a totally different company from Shelby America, including the cars that they offer. So these cars actually have nothing to do with Shelby America, the company that Carroll Shelby started and owned, before he passed. So they do their own thing, and they are what's called a post-title production. So that means that the car is titled as a Mustang GT, leaves the factory, or they do Shelby's as well. They do work with Shelby products from Ford. It gets kind of confusing. I totally understand. But they work with let's say Ford does a GT500, and they'll take it to Shelby and turn it into a Super Snake and resell it, as their own product. But it's a post-title production, is what it's called. So the cars that are actually VINed and titled, I guess they would call it pre-title production. Those are built straight by Ford and actually have nothing to do with Shelby America. But again, I know it's really confusing. Yes, exactly. Ford just bought the right to be able to use the name. And to be fair, before Carroll Shelby died, he was involved in some of these projects. They went to Carroll Shelby, they showed him what they were working on, kind of got his stamp of approval, so to speak. But yes, the cars themselves, so that goes for all of the 05 to, well, technically to 14, even though I think they skipped a few years in there. Actually, I'm sorry, 07. So the 07 GT500, all the way up to the 13 and 14 GT500, like Speed Addicts GT500, those are all straight Ford products. And Shelby America, the confusing part is that they use the same naming conventions. That's the problem I wish they would get away from. Like, for example, on the S197, Shelby America actually sold a GT350, and a lot of people think that Ford was selling a GT350 alongside of the GT500, because that's one of the things they're kind of selling now on the GT500. Is it's the first time since the 1960s that you can buy that a GT500 and 350 will be in showrooms together, and that is actually true from Ford. But again, it confuses a lot of people. And Nick buys all their takeoff brakes. Yeah, so like they'll send the GTs over there and they'll take off the Brembos and they'll throw them on eBay, and then they add their brakes. And that's what I mean by post title. So like they retitle the cars are actually titled as Mustang GTs, like the current ones. Back in the S197 days, they were building Super Snakes from Ford's GT500. Now, like, that part I really feel is confusing, and it's going to get even more confusing now that the GT500 is back, because for 2019 currently, Shelby America sells a Super Snake. And traditionally, the Super Snake was Shelby America's upgraded version of the GT500. Well, now for 2019 and the last few years, there was no GT500, so Shelby America was using GTs, and still currently is, to build Super Snakes. So now I think it's going to get really confusing next year when the GT500 comes out. What are they going to call the GT500 built products from Shelby America? They're going to be Super Duper Snakes? Like, what are they going to call it, since it's already the Super Snakes built from the GT? Yeah, a lot of people feel that way, that it's, and you know what? I'm not again, I don't have like a sour emotion towards it necessarily. But I really, if I had my pick, I would have Ford go back to the Cobra name. It's just less confusing. Like, these are not actually Shelbys. I'm sorry, they're not. They're at the end of the day, you could say branding is what makes a product a product. So if you buy a McDonald's and you sell, then it's McDonald's. You bought the brand, whatever. So I guess in that sense, it is a Shelby, but they're technically not Shelbys. They're not built by Shelby, his company that he created, and it's not the same company that built the original ones back in the day. Shelby America built those cars. So yeah, they need to go back to the Cobra name. I that was always my favorite naming for a car anyway, was the Cobra. And these cars are, they got the Cobra badges all over them anyway, so it's kind of like these really are the evolution of. I like to think of the 350 as kind of like the 9901 Cobra. They're like the evolution from those cars. And the GT500 is kind of the evolution of the 0304 of the Terminator. Yeah, I guess that's kind of how I feel, Ken. It's like I don't feel like it's not right because Shelby. I mean, there's video. It's not just Ford saying it. I mean, you can see that he was definitely involved in the 13 to 14 Shelby GT500 engineering and production, and he was involved. He was consulting, whatever he was doing. He was involved. He was giving a stamp of approval, but still not a Shelby product. It's a Ford product. That you just can't change or argue. So, are you asking about the Cobra? I gotta click live chat and then it disappears and reappears. There we go. Okay, so no, it's not finished, but you can see I've already started buffing this side. So there's like a little bit left. That's mostly dust all over it. That's why it still looks a little, yeah, it's just dust. But yeah, it's not done being, but so really all I have left to do is the door and the quarter panel and the mirror. And then just, what else was really there to do? I got to take it to the dealership, get an alignment done. I have to have the AC system charged up because we just replaced all those lines. And that's pretty much it, man. It's pretty much done. Put it all back, put the bumpers back on, take it to the dealer, let them align it. Oh yeah, and the throwout bearing. The damn throwout bearing. There's nothing more frustrating, guys, when you put something brand new in a car and it's messed up. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to buy a Raptor. I might have one in the near future, hopefully. I mean, I haven't really decided on what I'm going to do yet with the truck, whether I'm going to do what I was saying before about trading it in and kind of rebuying it back. It's a long story. Never mind that now, but if I don't do that, I'm going to probably try to get a used Raptor. A used Raptor. You'll give me $15,000 for what? My signature? I know we're not talking about my truck, unless we're talking about like the seats out of my truck. I'll sell you the seats for $15,000. I'll tell you what, I'll sell you my truck for $15,000 if you sell me yours for $20,000. So I'll just give you $5,000 in my truck and you give me your truck. How's that sound? Sound fair? Oh, this one? I mean, yeah, I might entertain something close to that. I don't know though, man. Like I don't know. You're headed towards the dark side though, man. I don't know if I don't know if you're worthy of the mighty serpent. You all that talk about getting a base model C7 automatic. I think you're losing your marbles in your old age, man. You have no marbles. Oh, I know you will, but I don't care about that. I just want it out of my face. It ain't gonna be $15,000 anyway, though. But we're close. We getting close. Update on the GT500 is at least the one that I ordered most likely isn't gonna be here till spring, because we don't have a build date yet, and they're gonna shut down production on all track packs and ours until spring, which is typically what they do every year, unfortunately. But as we were just talking about a few minutes ago, there's a slight chance, and I say a slight chance, that we might get a base car and then trade it in for the track pack when it comes in spring. And especially if it starts getting to where they're gonna, I'm not even gonna get a build date till March or April or something like that, which means I might not get the car until a month or two after that, then I'm definitely gonna probably be leaning towards trying to get a base car for the meantime. And when I say a base car, I don't mean literally a base car. You can get a handling pack with the, it'll be a track capable, setup for sure. I'll probably just not get all the extra stuff like electronics pack. I'll just make that thing as light as possible. Best options that I could pick are, going to be keeping it as light as possible, getting Recaros and handling pack. Is probably what I'll be after. Yeah, see, I don't know about that though. See, if I'm gonna be ordering, if I, I've already told you about my order. Um, I might have to get something different. That way I can kind of like have my cake and eat it too. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of white cars. So that, I mean, there's that. I love white, and I always have. Like the first one, when I was a kid, I'll never forget when I went and saw, a brand new '96 Cobra sitting in the showroom floor, and it was white with all black interior. And I've always loved white. Here's the issue on the GT500. Ford decided that you can only order seats that are white trimmed. And not only are the seats like white, we're not just talking about like white stitching here. We're talking about the entire outside rim of the seat is freaking white leather. And the dashboard has a giant white leather diagonal slash in it. Not sure what that's for. The door panels have the matching white slash in them. The steering wheel is white stitched with a white leather little racing stripe on top, kind of like our steering wheel here is red, but it's white. So honestly, guys, for those of you that don't like white, I understand, but how many of you can honestly tell me that that wouldn't bother you on just about every single spec? I mean, seriously. Like, do you want like a black car with white seats? Like it bothers me on. There's no. I honestly love the new GT500 in almost every single color. Like I love it in every. It looks good in every color to me. It really does. But there's only one color that the interior doesn't bother me in, and it's white. And I love white cars. And in all honesty, the white on the GT500 with all the black accents, the hood venting, and all the venting on the bumper, and the black roof, which I always order everything with a black roof. I just think it looks better. It's just got like a stormtrooper look. I really like it. I think it's one of the best looking specs. But again, I will say this, if it wasn't for the seats, I can almost guarantee you I probably wouldn't get white. It's the seats. It drives me insane that I have to have white seats in my car. The worst one of all to me is the green. If you get a green car, and what if you want black stripes? Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. You want a green car with black stripes. So you have green car, black stripes, red Brembo brakes, and white interior. Why don't you just put a rainbow sticker on the trunk for me? Oh, you do know a dumbass that bought a white 18 GT, yeah? That would be the same one that went 1080s, which is faster than you've ever gone? Is that the one we're talking about? Pretty sure that's the one we're talking about. But correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, see, it's quiet now. It's definitely not ugly. Hey, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, man. Everybody. One thing I've learned about like cars and myself is like never to ask somebody else's opinion because it's not the same as yours. So what does it really matter? Like I can ask 20 people and you get 20 different answers. You know what I mean? It's like some people are going to say, "Oh, yes, the white, the white, the white." And other people are going to go, "Oh my God, you got white." And that goes for no matter what color I order. If I order blue, if I order red, somebody's going to have something stupid to say. And somebody's going to love it. That's just the way it is. So I might as well just try to please myself and not everybody else. To be 100% honest with you guys, the color that I want the most, believe it or not, race red. There's just something to me about having a matching 350R and 500 in race, like, and it's just, I would say this, it sounds stupid, but the number one thing that makes me not order race red is that it's starting to look like I have like an infatuation with red when really like red was always one of my least favorite colors. It looked on the S550 and I was ordering a track car this time when I got the 350. And then I kind of fell in love with the color. I think it looks really good on the car. And I would just love to have both cars matching. I would love to have race red, but again, I just think the white seats looks retarded on anything but white. It's Ford's fault. If they let me order a red line interior like I have in the GT, like that showstopper red interior, there would be no freaking ifs, ands, or buts. It'd be race red all day. I would probably even stick with that blue, like, and have red interior, have that like freaking Superman, Spider-Man kind of thing going on. I love reds, like red accented interior, brakes, everything. White, not so much. I still, the more I think about it, I cannot believe that that was done. Like, that they literally said, here, you have to have, because it's such an odd, it's such an odd interior to spec to see, like white leather. White leather is usually kind of like, I don't know, it was popular back in the 80s and early 90s. But nowadays, it's more of like a high-end thing. You see it on like really, really expensive stuff that really doesn't ever get sat in. Maybe that's what they were trying to go for, but never has, like, I can't think of one car that's ever had white seats that you can't opt out of. Like, whoever was in charge of that decision, what a poor decision that was. And I know I'm not, like, in the minority here of thinking like that, because I see it all over Mustang 6G and everywhere else. People are like, wait, so that, a lot of people think they're color matched. Like, a lot of people I've talked to, they're like, oh, those are color matched. So if you get white, they're white. If you get blue, they're blue. Like, no, they're just white, no matter what you get. Even on the base seats, like, even if you get the base seats, you can't opt out of the white. There's nothing you can do to get out of the white leather. It's crazy. Yeah, and I will say this, man, like, seeing the C8 options, like, it's a slap in the face to a guy that's like such a hardcore Ford guy, and I order so many Ford products. It really does, like, it's frustrating to see that, like, oh, on the other side, it's like, oh, I can pick my seatbelt color, my freaking interior color. Dude, I could have blue seats in a Corvette. I saw one at the Corvette Museum when I went up there and looked at the C8. You can get the grabber blue interior with all blue stitching and blue leather all over the dash, the seats, everything. Red stitched, blue stitched. You want yellow seat belts, red seat belts, blue, whatever. It's ridiculous. With Ford, it's kind of like, nope, this is what you're getting. We'll tell you what you like. 99 minutes, 44 seconds. So yeah, that sounds like a good number. We'll probably end it 100 minutes, guys. So if anybody has any more questions, I'll answer real quick before we end it. My phone is literally at 2%. So it's probably going to get ended on us anyway. No, but you know what though? It's not a matter of whether you're a fan of the colored seatbelts. It's a matter that if you are a fan of it, you can do it. You know what I'm saying? The seatbelts are kind of trivial, but I'm just using that as an example to show you how far they go to let you make your car yours. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to like it, but it's there if you do. That's the point. Alright, guys. Just gonna do a quick little, just because I missed so many comments last time and I felt like an ass. Take a quick little peek back and see if I missed anything important. Yep, see, I don't know how I miss all these comments. I'm telling you, they pop up afterwards. If you're still there, Cameron, yes, I have driven a ZL1 on track. I drove a ZL1 1LE. You can check out the video, actually, it's on my channel. It's a badass car, I'll say that right off the rip. I will not sit here and try to talk shit about it because, I'm a Ford guy. The ZL1 1LE is the real deal. It's faster than the GT350 on track. There's no doubt about that. When it's properly driven. However, I will still say that the 350R, it handles better. Some people misunderstood me saying that and saying like it makes more grip or it's faster. That's not what I mean. I mean it handles better. It's better driver's car. It's more neutral. It's more balanced. And I would bet that on a very short, tight track, the GT350R will beat a ZL1 even with a pro driver. But 90% of tracks aren't short, little tight tracks. You know, they have straightaways, they have areas. With all that being said, to close it out, I would take, not considering being a Ford fan, if I had no bias whatsoever, and I've heard literally ZL1 owners that have driven both cars agree with this, I would take a 350R any day if I was looking for a track car. Like if I wanted a track car, the ZL1 1LE is a bad mamma jamma, but it's also a handful on track. Where the 350 is like a freaking scalpel on track. So if that's a good analogy for you, best way I could put it for you. No, a lot of people ask me about that, about the oil consumption. My honest answer to that is I can't give you an accurate answer because this is only a track car and I religiously change my oil just about before every single event I do. So I don't really have the chance to see if it's really consuming oil. But with any engine like this, flat plane crank, revs to 8,300 RPM, you know, if oil consumption is a problem, I would argue you're probably not on top of it enough and you're not changing your oil enough. You know, it's the nature of the beast. It's a high performance, high revving engine. It's going to eat through some oil. You know, if you give it time to. I wouldn't allow these things to go more than a couple thousand miles without changing the oil. I just wouldn't. You know, the oil in these things is it's a 5W50 weight, and that's really only properly working when the oil's really hot, and when the oil's really hot, it degrades fast. So I would change my oil a lot more often than probably most of these guys are. But if that is it, why abbreviated subscriber counts on YouTube? I think I might know what you're referring to. Are you referring to how YouTube is? I heard something about this, that they were going to not show the exact count anymore. Is that what you're referring to? Like if you have, 4,130 subscribers, it'll just say 4,000. I heard something about that, but I'm not sure if that's actually taken effect yet. All right, see you later, Salty. See you later, Anthony, if you're still there. Yeah. Honestly, the one thing I could say I would agree with you and I wish they would get rid of is the stupid bell notification. I mean, apparently YouTube feels that a subscription is worth nothing because you're not really subscribed until you hit the bell. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. If somebody takes the time to hit subscribe, they want to follow your channel. I don't understand why they have to. And the sad thing is most people don't know. How many people I've told hit the bell note, they're like, "What is the bell? What's a bell?" So it's like, I could see if it was like really people knew, like maybe when you hit subscribe, YouTube should pop up a prompt saying like, yo, if you don't hit this bell, you're not going to get notifications of videos. Maybe that would make it a little better, but I still think the bell in general is stupid. If somebody wants to take time to hit subscribe, then they should be subscribed and they should be notified of any video uploads. Because it's changed drastically just since I've started YouTube. You know, guys can have, like the other night when Xander was over here, he went live, 25,000 subscribers, and he's got 20 people in the chat. Come on. I do marketing and stuff for a living. I look at analytics all day long on email campaigns and internet, analytics, and that is bullshit. There's no way that you would only have 20 people out of 25,000. It's just way off, but it's clearly because they're not being notified. So 25,000 people took the time to subscribe to Xander's channel, but 24,800 of them aren't notified, which is not cool in my opinion. But I'll end my rant there. When you say GT4, that makes me think of GT4 Spec Racing, which Ford is involved in GT4, or do you just mean like a Cayman GT4? Because yeah, that my ultimate dream would be to race GT4 racing, you know, in a Mustang GT4. Yeah, a Cayman GT4. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Cayman GT4. In fact, hopefully you guys will see one on the channel soon, because I've been trying to talk my boss into getting one for about a year and a half now, and he wants one really bad. It's just, you know, it's just a matter of time until he gets one. And he's into the track thing too, and so, or he wants to get into the track thing, I should say. So if he gets one, we'll definitely have that thing on track and have some content on it. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of the GT4 Cayman. Huge fan. I'd love to have one myself, honestly. The thing was for me with the GT4 is it's like, it's $100,000 car, and at the end of the day, because I already bought this, it's like I've been on track with them so many times, and they're so close to a GT350 in like every way. A lot of cars put down similar lap times, but they do it in very different ways. Some cars, you know, might run a 215 like I do out there, but they're powerhouses. Some cars might run a 215 out there, but they literally, like, it's a Miata, but it just has unbelievable amounts of grip. The Cayman is literally like the same as a GT350 on track. It has just about the same acceleration capabilities, just about the same grip in the corners. It's just they're very neck and neck on track, and I just can't see. I don't know worth. I don't like doing it like that though, because at the end of the day, it's a way more refined car than a Mustang will ever be. So there's still a lot of things that make it desirable for sure. But I guess certain part of it in my mind is like, okay, so it's a, you know, $65,000 car, and I'm gonna go out and spend $100,000, and I love cars for the track more than I love them for any. And that's gonna be my one thing that I'm always gonna look back and be like, okay, so I spent an extra $40,000 to do the same exact lap times. What I would really, really love to have, I want my boss to get that Cayman so bad, but what I really want is a 911 GT3 with a manual, which I believe they just started doing in 2018. So hopefully in the next year or two, I could pick up a used 2018 GT3 with a manual, and that would be an awesome car to have. Yeah, I mean, I get it all the time, Ken. It's like people tell me all the time, they're like, oh, you uploaded a video? I didn't even know. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I'm glad YouTube decided that your subscription meant nothing. Oh, I just saw a comment here. Yeah, manual 991.2. Yep, that is one of my dream cars right there. The 991.2 GT3 manual. The PDK is awesome, but like I've spoke about this many times on my channel. To me, I don't want a DCT until we're breaking 600-700 horsepower. That's when I want to hear that argument that I can't shift it myself fast enough. If you hand me a 400-500 horsepower car and tell me, oh, you can't shift it fast, like bullcrap. Bullcrap. People just got to the point where they don't want to like learn how to drive. You know, I was just watching one of Tunnel Chaser's videos, and like, no offense to the other guy, but he was like talking about how the turns on the rev matching all the time and it's great. Like, no. If the only time I would consider having my rev matching done for me is if I was in a competition scenario and you just can't compete with other guys that are using it, because at the end of the day, you can be really good at heel toe, but you're never as good as a machine. So if I was in a competition scenario and I felt I had to use it to be competitive, then I would consider using it. But on an everyday drive, no way I'm turning on rev matching. That's part of the fun in driving, and I don't know why it's gotten to the point where people want their cars to shift for them. They want the engine to rev itself. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Like, yeah, people were complaining about automatics 10 years ago. Now guys want their cars to rev themselves for them before they execute their downshift. It's like, come on, guys. Drive your car. Why don't we just have it steer, too? When they're going to come out with automatic steering next, you could just sit there and sip your coffee while it races you around the track. I probably can't steer as good as a machine either, but I don't want the machine to steer for me. I mean, that's the argument you hear every time. Oh, you can't shift as good. You can't shift as fast. You can't. It's like, all right, eventually we're just going to have our cars drive for us because we can't do it as good. See, I didn't know that. I thought you could turn off the rev match. But you could be right. I'm not that up to speed on all that stuff. But I would still rather have the manual than the. But part of the reason I love manuals so much of driving on track is heel toe downshifting. It's so satisfying. You know, we're not perfect. I'm not perfect. I don't get it right every single time. I miss, but it's so much fun when you do get it right, and it's so satisfying. And again, I'm also all for a good quality automatic like a PDK or a DCT. I feel like I have a pretty welcoming attitude about it in the GT500, but we're talking 800 horsepower. You know, maybe at that point I drove as, like I said, I drove a ZL1 1LE on a tight track, and I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bit of a handful. And add another 100 horsepower, yeah, it might start to get a little bit dicey trying to shift that thing. I would worry about upshifting mainly. You know, you try to upshift a little too quick and a little bit of input in the wheel still with 800 horsepower, and that, you know, you're going to be looking at a wall a lot faster than you think. But yeah, just not enough 400 or 500 horsepower. Just like I feel the same way about the C8 Corvette. I understand that that's probably in preparation for what's coming with the Z06 and everything else. But you're not going to sell me a 495 horsepower car and then say, oh, yeah, with no manual option because you can't shift as fast. Porsche knew what was up. They tried getting rid of the manual, and people had a freaking fit. And that's why the 991.2 off now. So hopefully Ford gets the drift here. Like, we're not having it. Like, you can pull this on us. We'll buy your story this time. Like, all right, it's 800 horsepower. It needs it. But don't think you're taking away our manual. Like, just across the board. That's not going to fly. Yeah, 500 horsepower NA is just so well balanced and so, you know, you could really, it just makes such a fun car. I myself didn't realize it. You know, I was always the guy that wanted all the power until I got heavily into the track thing. And then I realized, man, like, it's not really where the money's to be made. It really isn't. And I know this because I can no problem pass 700 horsepower Z06s on track all day in this car. I do it all the time. So that, you know, all that extra power doesn't matter. It's really about how you can put it down and how much grip you can make in the corners and how late you can brake and how good you can drive. That's really what matters. All right, guys, so I said I was going to end it like 5-6 times. So this is it. Last check at the comments. I think most of you guys bounced out already anyway because I said I was getting off. All right, guys, so that is going to do it for this live stream here. Look out for, I have another video to edit. I might drop that in the next day or so if I have time to edit. I still got some stuff to do on the car here. But keep a lookout, guys, for this weekend. I may, if I can get connected to Wi-Fi or have a good enough phone connection established, I will try to go live from the track, at least walk you guys around, show you what's there, give you a little insight on the event. But we'll also be doing, you know, a regular old video of the event. So keep a lookout next week, early next week for all that stuff. And I will see you next time, guys. Thanks for joining. Don't know how to end it, but oh, there it is.